Hey, what's up out there in TV land? I'm Ian Robinson, taking over hosting duties for young Mr. Yago to bring you a special edition of The Wrap. So whether you consider yourself a hip-hop head or even a casual rap observer, you've most likely heard that Ja Rule and 50 Cent are embroiled in a serious back-and-forth diss spree. But this isn't just a lyrical tirade to see who's the better MC. This is venturing into territory that some fear could be dangerous. Being that both men are fixtures on the current pop culture landscape, you guys have flooded us with opinions on MTVnews.com, taking sides and kind of providing your insight into the beef. Eminem, 50 Cent, and Dr. Dre aren't bumps in the hip-hop road, says JC from Detroit, Michigan. They are the hip-hop road. Ja Rule better get off before things get ugly. Well, that hurts, but not everybody thinks the G-Unit soldiers are riding high. Everyone is underestimating Ja Rule, says BD from Toronto, Ontario. Ja is the real deal. I love the music on both sides of this battle, but it just seems like Eminem is out of place in this one. So who's really coming out on top in this war of words? Well, we're going to take you through the tracks as we decode the rhymes and trace the escalation of this lyrical drama. I don't believe you. When a relatively unknown rapper named 50 Cent spit those words back in '99 about rising star Ja Rule, the hip-hop community barely paid attention. We should have.
I'm a strong believer in never underestimating nobody. Look where 50 Cent is at right now.
Fast forward to 2002. After reinventing himself and signing with Shady Aftermath, everyone was ready for 50 Mania. Well, almost everyone.
We was good, Dre and them. Like, I didn't have no problems with y'all. So now y'all telling me I want to take on his problem and let him spew and spit tracks and whatever under your advisement. That's a problem.
Little did Ja know just how big this problem would get, both on MTV and in the streets.
I smell, is that you, I smell, is that you, Ja?
While we was eating, he was underground hating. You know what I mean? Ja was chilling. Ja didn't pay attention to none of that.
And why should he? Ja Rule was busy riding high on the catchy pop hits that had become his trademark.
Your lips, your smile,
On the mixtapes, he was slandering us, but we was ignoring him. You know what I mean? I think it popped off once he got his deal. It was like he felt like he had somebody behind him.
Ja and his Murder Inc. partner Irv Gotti got defensive, questioning 50 Cent's street credibility by calling him a snitch who had filed an order of protection against the Murder Inc. family.
What I'm holding in my hand is an order of protection for Irving Lorenzo to stay away from Curtis Jackson. That's 50, y'all. AKA 5-0, or AKA informant, AKA I'm telling.
They did anything in their power to try and see if we can destroy 50 Cent or see if we can hurt him as far as his street credibility.
Legal matters aside, 50 used the release of his debut album to let the world know that he wouldn't back down.
What we gonna do now? How we gonna eat, man? 50 back around. That's Ja, little punk ass thinking out loud.
The battle lines were drawn, and with 50's exploding popularity, many believe that Ja had taken on more than he bargained for.
You know I got the hood on smash. The rain on top, it's over that fast.
It's like where it might have been people that like Ja Rule, but now that he's going at 50, they love 50, so now they're not even liking Ja Rule no more.
I wouldn't give the whole battle thing to Ja. I give the edge to 50. 50 just keep coming, keep coming.
I sit back and watch. You pretended to be pop, you pretended to be hot, but you're not.
I think Bruce started off being a bigger man.
But behind the scenes, the stakes were rising, with a shooting at 50 Cent's Violator management offices, a federal raid of Murder Inc., finger-pointing from both camps, and continued verbal shots from 50. The question for Ja became,
How much more could he stand for them to keep throwing at him?
Is that a woman or a man? I really don't care to stand, but 50, you gon' get shot again by the M-U-R-E-D-R-N.
My reaction was like, okay, dog is ready to ride now.
Rule was hot. It still is hot. And you want to constantly smash it. Your man, he ain't no punk.
We got on our sheep suits. We're walking around, bad. When the zipper comes down, they find out that we was wolves all along.
Holla! That could have been the best chess move he ever played in his whole life. If you go at 6 people on one record, you got 6 of the hottest people in the industry calling your name, giving you their undivided attention. You can get resurrected, yo.
Let's shoot them. Fresh shook and got bust
It's just, you know, he got to be able to hold it down when them 6 people respond.
If Pac was still here now, he would never ride with ya. Nah, 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 nah.
50 wasted no time with his response, connecting with Eminem over the classic Tupac track Hail Mary. In addition, one of Ja's new targets joined their team.
If you want to beef with me, then I'm beefing with you. I think about the game and what it's like, and what would it be without you? Finished.
The people that he was dissing primarily was on the team that I represent, Violator. So if you're going at everybody on Violator, you must be going at me too.
With his opposition growing, Ja Rule came right back with the perfect yin to 50's Tupac-inspired Gang.
Cause I done made blood trickle on down your cheek. Your heart ain't cut for the cold of the streets. You're wondering, is it murder that shot me?
Once you thought you was gonna disrespect people's mothers and disrespect my peoples and get us arrested and we wasn't gonna ride it, they suppose somebody should have been stepped in.
It's this exact sentiment that has many believing that this battle is already spun out of control.
See, beefs is different from battles. The battling must always exist because that's just the testosterone thing in hip-hop that keeps it exciting. But when you get on a record and you beefing with somebody, and you start talking about their mother and their kids.
Your mother's a crackhead, and Kim is a known slut, so what's hell gonna be when she grows up?
Killing and shooting.
Now listen, yo mammy, yo happy that you chasing your little dirty ass kid. I'll be finna race him.
The beef aspect is going way too far.
Has nothing to do with hip-hop. That's street hop, man. That's bringing the street BS into the game.
When it stems from wax, it stays on wax. When it's something else, it's not really wax. Me and him don't get along, period.
Y'all just want to see Pac come back? Y'all want to see this? It's here. It's here. And I'm taking it to the streets, to the mic, any way y'all like it. Holla back!
Well, that's where things stand right now. Now, some radio DJs in New York, like Funkmaster Flex and Red Alert, are refusing to play the battle records, while others are putting songs like 50, Eminem, and Busta's rendition of Hail Mary into regular rotation. As of right now, nobody really knows where this battle will end, but we do know where it began. Good-natured sparring. I don't pretend to understand the reasons behind the apparent disdain that 50 Cent harbors towards Ja Rule, says Gia from Philly, but I believe that they need to rise above this little dispute and concentrate on making more money and hopefully helping to assist the population that supports their musical endeavors. Life's rough, so why not make the best of it? Well, Gia, that's a good point, and you're right on one thing. Very few people know the actual reasons that 50 and Ja are so embittered with one another. So, without further ado, here's the backstory. The year is 1994. 18-year-old Jeffrey Atkins, a kid from Hollis, Queens, is looking for loot and a piece of the rap game with his crew, the Cash Money Clique.
Cause it's like that. The ghetto's been good, but it's rugged. Choo-choo, the game all out, I'ma thug it and make it happen.
Around the same time and around the same way, Curtis Jackson, also 18 and also from Queens, Jamaica to be exact, is also hustling. A different kind of hustling. In 1994, the man who would become 50 Cent is arrested for selling crack. Curtis would spend 7 months at a correctional facility in upstate New York. Fast forward to 1999. Jeffrey Atkins, now better known as Ja Rule, is signed to rap powerhouse Def Jam Records. Things were also looking up for the other kid from Queens. Eager to stop hustling, Curtis Jackson attracted the attention of the Trackmasters production team, who signed the aspiring MC to a label deal. From now on, Curtis Jackson would be known as 50 Cent.
I'm planning to take over New York and start expanding.
In many ways, 50 Cent and Ja Rule seem to be leading parallel lives. Parallel lives that would intersect on the set of a video being shot in the very hood from which they both came. Ja's Murder Inc. label mate Black Child tells it like this.
It was Murder for Life video shoot. Rule was shooting on Jamaica Ave. We was shooting the video and 50 came through the set. I guess he expected us to greet him with open arms. Now me and Ja just hit him with a what's up and kept it moving. And he felt like we didn't show him enough love on the set. And from that point on, you know what I mean, he started hating.
But 50 Cent remembers things a little differently. According to 50, the beef with Ja began months earlier following a club show in Queens where Ja had performed Can I Get A with Jay-Z. Sometime after leaving the stage, says 50, Ja's chain was swiped by a mutual acquaintance.
I knew the dude who robbed him. You know, from the environment we in our hood, that's I know him. You know, so and he's seen us in the club and he's seen us, you know, me smiling, kicking it with him regular, and he felt like after that he carried me differently. When I came to say what's up to him later, he felt like I dissed him or something.
The Murder Inc. camp flatly denies 50's version of events.
That chain incident, 50 talking about making, that ain't real, know what I mean?
Despite the conflicting stories, one thing is clear. These two MCs will never be friends. In the spring of '99, 50 fires off the first of what would be many lyrical daggers aimed squarely at Ja Rule and his label, Murder Inc.
Murder, I don't believe you. Murder, murder, your life's on the line.
Fall of 1999, Ja Rule and 50 Cent find themselves at the same Atlanta nightclub, booked on the same bill. Ja tells XXL that the two met outside. According to Ja, 50 says, "You know the record's out there, I can't pull the record back." To which Ja responds, "I don't like you and I'll effing crush you, and however you want to do it, it's whatever." The heated argument escalated into a physical fight. It would be yet another incident involving a chain. Again, according to Ja, quote, "So he snuffed me. I went back, pulled his shirt over his head and started catching him. Our mutual friend breaks it up. 50's chain popped. My chain popped. I picked up the little garbage can, chased him inside the hotel and threw the as they was going inside the elevator." 50 allegedly walked away from the scuffle, boasting a pendant cross that had been hanging from a chain around Ja's neck. Legend has it that to get the chain back, Ja offered 50, using a mutual friend of the two rappers as a go-between, a Movado watch.
I eat you for breakfast, a watch was a stink for your necklace.
March 2000, 50 and Ja meet again, this time at the Hit Factory in Manhattan. Ja, Irv Gotti, Black Child, and other members of Murder Inc. were at the famed recording studio when Ja gets word that 50 is in the house.
They went up there with the intentions of starting a fight. Ja said that one of his friends had a crutch, so Ja Rule grabs the crutch, and he goes up there to see 50 Cent.
Honestly, soon when we seen him, it was on.
Someone shuts out the lights, or so the story goes, and a melee ensues as the Murder Inc. posse confronts 50 and his crew, which includes G-Unit soldier Lloyd Banks. As Ja tells it, "I'm there trying to hit him with the crutch. I'm going wild with the crutch. I'm even hitting some of the guys I'm with the mother effing crutch."
We seen them, they seen us, it popped off, and one of them started reaching for a gun.
Black Child says that someone was 50. In self-defense, claims Black Child, he began to stab 50.
Yeah, I stabbed him, you know what I mean? But he was reaching for his gun and I poked him, straight up and down. And that's how it went.
50, I had a knife, you had a gun. You ain't popped one shot, poked you called 911.
Next you know, I'm getting arrested. Me, Chris, and Irv is getting charged with 4 counts of assault.
50 denies having a gun at the Hit Factory that night. He also denies calling the police. But in a September 2001 XXL interview, he admits that he was stabbed in his side during the confrontation, though he says he only received a mere 3 stitches from the cut.
You know, 50's always made jokes that it was a pretty minor injury. You only need a couple stitches. And he compared it to his baby mama situations and said that his baby's mama hurt him a lot worse than Ja Rule and Murder Inc. did.
3 months later, in an incident that would largely shape the MC's hard scrabble persona, 50 Cent is shot 9 times on a street in Queens. Murder Inc. denies any involvement in the shooting. 50 Cent concurs. Now, it should be noted that Ja Rule and Irv Gotti declined to be interviewed for this show. Both Ja and 50 are still mad as hell, but one thing has changed. Today, they're both international superstars and rich, and they're both walking the oh-so-delicate line between street credibility and pop success. Beef. So let's bring ourselves up to speed. We all know about the mixtape scene, the venom being spit back and forth between 50 and Ja on wax, and we also know why these two giants of the hip-hop world are gunning for each other. But what about Ja's ability to rock steady in the world of pop and still keep his street cred? Ja Rule, you were out of your league, taking on Dr. Dre, Eminem, and 50 Cent, says Alex from Fresno, California. Who in their right mind battles the Quincy Jones of rap, the rapping fool, and their own neighborhood nemesis? Stick with Ashanti. The two of you are on your way to becoming the Peaches and Herb of rap. Ow. Ja Rule's decision to go head-to-head with 50 Cent in recent months has left many observers asking one question. What's he thinking? After all, isn't this the same guy who did this? And this. And of course, this.
Your smile.
And this and this and this and this and this. Believe it or not, Ja Rule hasn't always been the pop croon king.
From now on, you can witness how the icon.
He was introduced to the world on really a Jay-Z record.
But the world, the pop world at least, didn't really take notice until Ja went back to the block with Jenny.
And I can't go on without you.
I'm Real became one of the biggest hits of 2001, and yet even as he climbed the pop charts, Ja maintains that he was keeping it street. After all, he tells XXL, how many rappers do you know that would have gotten on a record with Jennifer Lopez and said it must be the ass?
It must be the ass that got me like that.
And hey, if the shoe fits.
Ain't only for the move, baby.
But did Ja Rule take it too far?
He's already singing. You can't go from a pop star back to a rap star like that, you know what I mean?
When we leave the street life alone, I guess that's what I'm gonna do.
Actually, other high-profile rap stars like Puffy, Jay-Z, Tupac, and even Eminem have managed to straddle the line between the pop stage and the streets. Of course, all found themselves at one time or another in compromising situations that some have attributed, rightly or wrongly, to the hip-hop credo of keeping it real.
Ja Rule's a great entertainer, but 50 is just straight hip-hop. You have to give it to 50. No question.
No question for now, perhaps, but might soon we be asking the same questions about 50?
Are you mad because I'm asking you 21 questions?
Because that looks a lot like...
What would I be without my baby? This thought alone might break me.
50 may be thugged out on his record.
50 Cent is in the building!
And also, like Ja, he's got his eye on Hollywood.
I'm exploring my options and film opportunities.
And so the teetering continues as hip-hop's biggest stars attempt to reconcile megastardom and the streets. Whether they're pop stars or not, the battle goes on, and as it gets more heated, there's a lot more on the line. You may be saying to yourself, you know, I don't know, Ian, this battle seems pretty typical, but is it really? We decided to take a look for ourselves.
What's beef? What's beef? Well, at some point, almost all rappers are forced to defend themselves in rhyme. Whether it's the hood they rep, the skills they got, or how much money they make, there's always something to argue about.
It's just us being competitive at what we do. You know what I'm saying? That's what rap music was built on, like I'm better than you.
But the fire spitting between Ja Rule and 50 Cent seems different.
When they talk about shooting somebody's mother or killing somebody's son, getting too personal, it's reckless right now.
Recent rivals Jay-Z and Nas, like many others before them, took their fair share of cheap shots, but they did it more cleverly, stepping up their skills on classic battle tracks.
Yeah, I sampled your voice, you was using it wrong. You made it a hot line, I made it a hot song.
I can handle this for Dolo and his manuscript. Just sounds stupid when KRS already made an album called Blueprint.
That's what I respect about me and Jay's battle. It was a battle of the minds as well as lyrics, you know what I'm saying? We're not portraying gangsters, we're not walking around with vests, bulletproof vests on and, you know, and all of that.
But 50 and Ja are taking that gangster route. Their tracks reflecting the violent history between the two MCs.
They really don't like each other, and that's why it's dangerous. This situation is a street situation. The bottom line is it didn't start on record. It started in the street.
It started on the street, but let's hope it ends on wax. Hip-hop has been plagued in recent years by too many tragic incidents, none of which are definitively connected to any lyric or verse. But given the murky circumstances surrounding those incidents, most agree that it's best not to blur the line between records and reality. Remember, let's keep it on wax.
You told us overwhelmingly via email that you wanted to know more about this story. So we will continue to cover what you, the audience, is interested in. Keep writing us by going to the You Tell Us section of MTVnews.com. Now, as always, guys, it's all fun and games as long as you keep it on wax. Remember what Biggie said, I wouldn't wish death on nobody because there's no coming back from that. Until next time, ladies and gents, take care.